It's going to be an evening of seasons beatings when POW Pro Wrestling comes back to Eugene, Oregon, Saturday, December 14th for Silent Night, Violent Night.
How could you use such a cliche as seasons beatings? We've heard that so many times before. It's a little too West Coast, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, it's a little on the nose. I know it's a bit cliche, but hey, you know what? I'm in the holiday spirit here this week as we are just hurtling toward our big December event for POW Pro Wrestling. Of course, we are in the thick of holiday season, and the perfect gift for the wrestling fan in your life, especially if you're in the Eugene, Oregon area, would be to have a ticket for POW Pro Wrestling. But if you can't be here in person for the event in Eugene, you can always watch us live as these shows are happening right here on our YouTube channel. December 14th at 7 o'clock Pacific time in the evening, of course, mister. It's going to be a wild night, silent night, violent night. So many exciting matches on this card, and you know, we're in the giving mood at POW Pro Wrestling, and we're going to give you a bonanza of action. Mister, I can't wait.
No can I. The clock is ticking, and ever since we started this live stream era, the views have increased exponentially. The subscriptions, everyone's tuning in. Get in on the ground floor here at POW Pro Wrestling and check out all the rope opera, the drama, the characters, the catchphrases. Enough to put in a little stocking of your own. And speaking of things getting stuffed, what about that miscreant Funny Bone returning from his honeymoon with Drexel? Not with Drexel, but teaming with Drexel after his unholy matrimony, whatever happened at the end of Bumps in the Night 3D?
Well, certainly, mister. You're alluding to what happened after our show went off the air in October when Funny Bone went down on their knee and made an impromptu proposal for a wedding ceremony. So, no shenanigans this time. We actually had our wedding in the ring. Funny Bone and Sarah Peterson officially tied the knot. Mazel tov to them. And like you said, mister, they are back from the honeymoon. The honeymoon period is over. And of course, with Funny Bone and Drexel back in action for the first time since October, they have got gold in their sights as they take on the Hess Clan. Since their debut last year at Silent Night, Violent Night, the Hess Clan have run rampant on some of the best teams in POW, finally securing the POW Tag Team Championship from the Hammer Brothers at Wicked Game, thanks in no small part to the arrival of Uncle Sid and his downright dirty tactics. But Funny Bone and Drexel are no strangers to questionable tactics. In fact, they prefer them. While the Hess Clan got a tainted win over Most Violent at Altered Egos, Funny Bone and Drexel's decimation of Despicable Me at Bumps in the Night 3D shot them to the top of the tag team rankings. It'll be a different kind of family bonding when these two close-knit but chaotic tandems meet in an all-out war for POW Gold. Who will walk out on December 14th as POW Tag Team Champions? That's going to be a hard-hitting affair, mister. If you like physical action in your wrestling, you're going to want to tune in to the tag title match. Now, Funny Bone and Drexel, they work well separately. They work, I would argue, better as a team. And since Funny Bone was one of the longest reigning POW Pro Wrestling champions, it only makes sense that maybe they could become a tag team champion with their good friend Drexel.
If I was the Hess Clan, I wouldn't let those belts go too far out of their grip, but don't forget about Uncle Sid, huh? He's there as the backup security insurance policy for the Hess Clan.
Certainly a ghost of holiday present could be in the future for Most Violent if Uncle Sid and the rest of the Hess Clan have their way. Well, folks, another matchup we're keeping our eye on. Speaking of Most Violent, mister, this next match will feature somebody who lost to Most Violent back in October in that handicap steel cage match. Marcus Eriks, the leader of Despicable Me, back in action for the first time in October as he takes on Ravenous Randy Myers. Mister, this is going to be an interesting matchup. Marcus Eriks is looking to regain momentum after what happened in that cage match. Then you have Randy Myers, who's been trying to find a niche of his own here in POW Pro Wrestling after all these months. Who do you think is going to be coming out on top in this one?
It's hard to say. They're about even. You know, Marcus Eriks was up there in that main event, and then he got that door slammed on his head. All his dreams perhaps disintegrated. He's looking to, recapture the magic. But then there's Ravenous Randy Myers, a former Defy champion, former champion almost everywhere he's ever gone. A veteran of the game, trained in the hot donjon. Marcus is coming out of a donjon of his own, but he'll also have Dr. Cleaver and Eliza True with him, huh? Who knows what the state of Despicable Moi is? We might find out here at Silent Night, Violent Night, if they're still on each other's Christmas lists or whatever.
True. After what we saw at the end of that cage match in October, the state of the future of Despicable Me could be in disarray, could definitely be up in the air. But speaking of Despicable, we got to talk about our next championship match on the docket. That's for the Wrestling with Regret YouTube Championship, held, of course, by, your good
Brother
friend.
Levi Shapiro. You must say it loud, you must say it proud. Brother Levi, I don't know. He is a decorated champion. You have that fake YouTube championship belt there, but the tribute edition. But Brother Levi, he's got the real one at home down there with him by the seashore in sunny California. He's getting his tan. He's working on his cardio. He's on the choo-choo every morning, watching old tape. He's ready for that big bad Malcolm Phlex, that big Dumberhead, eh?
Yeah, well, he's no brother of mine, not anymore, mister. As you mentioned, he's going to be going up against Malcolm Phlex for the YouTube Championship. Let's show you this tape and find out how Malcolm Phlex, the honorable one, got this opportunity. After disposing of Jonas Albert Robinson and his Jarmy, Malcolm Phlex looks to move into a new direction at Silent Night, Violent Night and claim his first piece of gold in POW after becoming #1 contender for the Wrestling with Regret YouTube Championship at Feast Your Eyes. But if Phlex thinks he's walking into a straight-up match, he'd be wrong, as few on the POW roster have been as reckless with the rules as Levi Shapiro, who's betrayed best friends, stolen identities, and even set his own pupil up for failure, all in a vain attempt to retain the title he claims is his heart and soul. At Silent Night, Violent Night, can Phlex reclaim his destiny as one of the most sizzling, loving, and unforgettable talents in POW? Or will Brother Levi's reign of terror continue?
Brian Zane, you want to play games, huh? Want to get your boy Malcolm Phlex in the mix? Want to try to bring out all the heavy hitters, right? For this right here. Wrestling with Regret YouTube Championship. Don't you forget who made this title. It sure as shit wasn't you. It was me. When Alley Catch took it away, who brought it back home? When Zicky Dice put his filthy little mitts on that belt, who brought it back to prestige? Me. So when I wanted to go out there and give myself an exhibition match, you had to get involved and play games. Brian, you know I don't like to play games. So next month I'm gonna make an example out of Malcolm Phlex. And that's gonna take me one step closer to you, Brian, because I'm getting sick and tired of you being a thorn in my side. Sooner or later, Brian. That's all I gotta say. Get the hell away from me.
Well, looks like you'd better watch out or else you'll be getting something for Christmas from Brother Levi. It's going to be a merry Clawmas. Clawmas is coming yet again for you, Brian Zane, and you deserve it. You deserve it because I have closely examined the tape with our video editors, and they have broken down the footage. When Brother Levi gave you that hug back at Altered Egos, you gave him a little bit of a pinch on the keister, which set him off, and then he gave you that steel chair, and here we are. If you could only control your inner rage, your inner contempt for Brother Levi, then you would not be in this situation.
Yeah, that's what happened, mister. Your word above all else's, isn't it? Well, let me say this as far as Brother Levi is concerned. He can talk a big game. He's already hit me with a steel chair. I don't know what else what he's got in mind, but he's got to deal with Malcolm Phlex first. He shouldn't be worrying about me. He needs to worry about the opponent across the ring from him on December 14th, because Malcolm Phlex could be the next YouTube champion if things play out the way I would like them to. Well, mister, a story we are following here at POW Pro Wrestling. Since we are in the holiday spirit, I guess it's only appropriate to talk about the coal that was figuratively stuffed into the stockings of the Hammer Brothers recently when it came to the recent arrival of Cletus and Cooter, the Cole cousins. We saw them make their shocking debut back in October at Bumps in the Night 3D when they assaulted Jack and Sledge. We saw more of the same the following month. We started to hear from the Cole cousins, but the Hammer Brothers came into the ring. Chaos ensued, and in the end, the Cole cousins stood tall again. Mister, I don't know what to make of these guys.
Well, I think that they're going to make a plot for the Hammer Brothers deep down in that mine and bury them deep And they're going to build such a strong wall around them that Jack and that big old dummy sludge will not be able to break through. But what could possibly be the motivation of Cliter and Cliton, huh?
Well, we're about to find out. We have this video package detailing some recent comments from the Cole cousins. Take a look at this.
What's mine is mine, and what's yours will soon be mine. Hammer Brothers, I know them noggins have been working real hard inside them hard hats, trying to figure out what we mean by that. Well, boys, you about to find out, because I'm gonna tell you a little story. A story about a couple brothers, and no, their names ain't Jack and Sledge. This is the story of Zeke and Frank Hummer. Couple brothers from Sewell, West Virginia. Although, you might as well call it sewer, because there ain't nothing left but the leavings of the men that used to live there. The story takes place a long time ago, boys, before you and I were ever born. Now you see, Frank and Zeke, they didn't have a lot, but they had each other. And every day, those boys went down in the mine. They dug around in the deepest, darkest holes they could find. Holes you never could imagine. And one day their luck slipped. The boys dug too deep. The shoring let loose, and the whole damn mountain tried to come down on their heads. Frank was stuck under 100 pounds of rock, but he dug himself free. But did he dig over and find Zeke? Nah, that boy ran. He ran all the way home, and he didn't stop there. Oh no, he kept on running. And he decided that day that he was gonna lay down his pickaxe, give up the family business, and he picked up a hammer. And the tool wasn't the only hammer that boy picked up, because you see, he took Hammer for his last name, and instead of digging holes, he started building houses. And if you boys ain't figured it out yet, Frank Hammer was your boy's grandpappy. And if them skulls are too thick to figure it out, Hammers, Zeke Hummer was our grandpappy that your grandpappy left for dead. Cletus and I, we're your kin. There's a twist, boys. You see, Zeke didn't die in that hole like your grandpappy left him to do. He crawled and scratched his way all the way back to town. His fingertips bloody down to the bone. His knees scraped raw. But he was alive. It wasn't too long for this world, no. You see, Zeke got himself the black lung. And a few years later, he left this world. But he didn't leave this world alone. He left his boys. He left Cletus's poppy and my poppy. And he left them nightly with the tales of what your grandpappy did to him. And he left our pappies on his deathbed. One thing. He made them swear that he would find Frank. He would find Frank's descendants, and they would make them pay. Hammers, we have watched you from afar. We have watched you construct and build your new lives away from your rightful family. And we have come to fulfill our Poppy's promises. We have come to tear what's yours is down. We have come to bury you boys in the deepest, darkest holes imaginable. Hammers. What's mine is mine. And what's yours will soon be mine.
Whoa, shocking development there, mister. Did you hear that? The Cole cousins claim that they are related to the Hammer brothers.
Now it has to be true, because who would possibly lie and say that they had any association with Jerk and Sludge? I mean, really, what's the benefit of that, huh?
I mean, we heard some of the motivations, like you said, mister, in those comments from Cletus and Cooter, and we're gonna have to hear from the Hammer brothers and get some kind of response to that accusation that they are related. I mean, this really blows the whole situation wide open to me.
We're going to have to wait a while, because as far as I know from the reports I've been receiving, Jerk and Sludge are laid out. They will not be there at Zaye night. They've been put in the dust by the new Hammer brothers, the replacement Hammer brothers, Cooter and Cletus.
Well, that remains to be seen, mister, but the finality of that statement. But one thing we can talk about is our next match on the card. It's going to be Charly Avell.
The most beautiful man in POW Pro Wrestling, Charly Avell, against that used to be somebody, always a nobody. Who is he now? His name is Kaine Jaiden.
That's right. It is a match that both of these men, they've fought before in a POW Pro Wrestling ring.
I still have a little tiny piece of glass stuck in my pinky here because of that miscreant Jaiden, who calls himself a hero. Who does that to another human being?
Self-inflicted wound,
Who
mister.
infects another human being with a shard of glass for the rest of their lives?
Well, we'll talk about that one off air, mister, but certainly Jaden is a different person since the last time he and Charly Avell faced off in the ring. He's lost his superhero identity at the hands of Levi Shapiro, and as of course he's still trying to find himself and regain his confidence and his flow in POW Pro Wrestling. Let's hear some pre-match comments from our competitors.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Pretty, pretty Charly, not you, Kaine Jaiden. So now the mask is off. You have been revealed in all of your phoneness, all of your falsity. But yet, we are beginning a dynasty, and when one begins a dynasty, they must close the old chapters. And Kaine Jaiden, you are the last chapter before Charly moves on and takes the first step to creating his grand dynasty, huh?
Next month, Jaden, you're gonna be mine. And we're gonna end it beautifully.
The first step in the dynasty is the Kaine Jaiden. And that would be unbelievable.
Charly, Sicarios, Dynasty, whatever y'all want to refer to yourselves as, you might have got over on me this time. But next time there's going to be no Caleb Tennity to stab me in the back. There's not going to be any glass mirrors smashed over my head. It's just going to be me and you dancing. So you can bring your boys. You can bring the Sicarios. You can bring Mister. It won't matter. I'm still trying to find out who I am. Who I am without the mask, without the super suit. So I'm gonna bring my A game. You better bring yours too. And we'll figure out who the best man is, Charly.
Well, I'm excited to see how that one goes, mister. Now, granted, it's a match we've seen a few times before, but hey, this next match we're talking about is one I never thought I would see, as it appears the Flamin' Aces 2.0 has imploded. Let's take you back to some footage from a 6-man tag match we saw at our last POW event. You see, it was the Flamin' Aces 2.0 and Kaine Jaiden versus the Dynasty. And in the end, Caleb Tennity was poised to make a vital tag in, but then he jumped off the apron, attacked Zaye Perez on the outside, allowing Kaine and Jaden to get defeated by Charly, Avell. And then, Mister, you see what happens after the bell. Caleb Tennity wreaking vengeance and havoc down upon Perez and Jaden. After the bell, Spencer Scott could only watch as he was still injured, not able to compete. Let's hear some immediate comments from all these men involved in the aftermath of this dramatic turn of events.
Zaye, I'm sorry, man. I don't know. I don't know why Caleb did this. When he told me that he wanted better for himself, I believed him.
We let him into our team, dude.
We let him into our team. We let him into our life. And that's the last time we're ever going to let someone like that into our group again. We are the Flaming Aces. We are the tag team that is Pacific Northwest. We belong here. We are... You know exactly what we are. It's exactly what Caleb Tennity is not. Caleb, you will never be an ace because you don't know what it means. You want to go the back door. You want to cheat. You want to do everything. You want to do everything the wrong way. But we don't do that. We fight. We stay strong. We do what we believe in. And right now, Caleb, we believe that we're going to get your ass. And we do. When we do, Caleb, you're going to wish you never became a Flaming Ace. Never again, bro. She's never happening, bro. Never again.
Caleb, shut it. Listen, I know a lot of people are wondering why I just did what I did. You see, 5 months ago, I moved out here. Spencer called me and I moved across the country to join this, the Flamin' Aces. I was told I was part of a brotherhood. That's what I think of that brotherhood. Zaye Perez, you and I were on a path to become the POW Tag Team Champions. And Jaden, you can't even keep your identity, dude. So I don't want any part of this brotherhood. And next month, in December, Zaye Perez, you and I are going to go one-on-one in a singles match. And I'm going to show all three of you, Spencer Scott, Kaine, Jaden, Zaye Perez, I'm going to show you guys why I am the best of the Flamin' Aces. I'll see you next month.
Well, Mr. I, for one, cannot believe the actions of Caleb Tennity. He was the honorary ace. How could he do this?
How could he do this? Any normal or even unusual idiot could see it coming from a mile away, especially when you look at it with 20/20 vision. Caleb Tennity tries to help Zaye Perez after he punched me out to give him the chair. Zaye, I'm too good. Gets the chair in the head. Charming Charly Avell goes over. 1, 2, 3. Plus, the lingering specter of the hotshot Spencer Scott going to be back any minute. What's going to happen to Caleb Tennity then? Is he still going to be a flaming ace? Now he's going to be the fourth wheel instead of the third, behind Kaine, Jaden, Zaye Perez, and Spencer Scott. Plus, it's Zaye Perez. He's a twerp. He's an idiot. He's getting uglier by the day. Who would want to associate themselves with them, you know?
Now, first of all, I think Caleb Tennity was a great addition to the Flamin' Aces. Once Spencer Scott gets healthy, I could have seen a spot for Caleb Tennity in that foursome and having it be a really strong unit. I think Caleb did a good job holding it down while Spencer was injured. I still don't understand his motivations for why he did what he did last month, but he's going to answer for his sins in this week's event, Silent Night, Violent Night, when Caleb Tennity takes on Zaye Perez, and that is going to be a match that I'm going to be very interested in seeing how Zaye is going to act. How's he going to respond to somebody who he took in as a friend, as a brother, only to be stabbed in the back like that? It's going to be very interesting to see, mister.
Well, Zaye Perez, he's a little too nice, he's a little too kind-hearted, and I think that's how he got himself into this situation to begin with. And not only stab in the back, now Caleb is going to look him in the eyes and stab him right in that heart and put him down for good and end the Flaming Aces before they can even come back.
Well, mister, that spectacular description you just gave us, that vivid imagery aside, speaking of kind-hearted, Mr., let's talk about our main event for Silent Night, Violent Night. Someone in POW who is at the top of the nice list here in this company. I'm only talking about the POW Pro Wrestling Champion, Amira. You know, she has had no shortage of big challenges and obstacles to overcome in her time as POW Champion, but she's going to be in for quite the rough evening, long night at the office, when she defends her title against a Northwest stalwart in Ethan HD, making his long-awaited return to POW Pro Wrestling. This is a match that Amira specifically requested as champion, and well, be careful what you wish for, Amira. Since her shocking victory over Funny Bone back at Base Brawl in July, the Tower of Power Amira has proven she's no fluke champion, taking on veterans like Vinny Massaro, enduring the mind games of Matt Brannigan, and going toe-to-toe with a contemporary in Sandra Moon. But to end her incredible 2024 on a high note, the POW champion must withstand the challenge of Ethan HD, a nearly 20-year veteran who's held major titles in every promotion he's competed in, from Defy to DOA, even holding the distinction of being the longest reigning DOA champion of all time. Can Amira close out her banner year on top, or will the man who lives life in all caps play spoiler for the powder keg?
Well, as I understand, Amira has given you a little Christmas list of everyone she'd like to fight for the POW Championship, huh?
Sure, yeah, she gave me a list of all the opponents she wanted to challenge while she was the champion. I thought it was pretty noble.
Well, I'm thinking she's going to regret that list when she crossed off Matt Brannigan, she crossed off Sandra Moon, Vincenzo Massaro, Jaden, Ethan HD. I don't know. You know, Ethan HD was one of the last 4 competitors in the very first Rumble to Wregret that decided the first POW champion.
That's true.
Has he ever been called back? Have you ever booked him? Have you ever asked him to return?
Well, he's always been kind of hard to get a hold of. His schedule is very busy. He's a very busy man, that Ethan HD, but we weren't able to lock him down for this matchup. And, you know, tell you what, mister, I'm as excited as someone on Christmas Eve waiting to unwrap all those presents the next day, because that is what I'm feeling for Silent Night, Violent Night. What a spectacular card we have for you here in the month of December. Let's break it down once again. Amira defends the POW Pro Wrestling Championship against all caps Ethan HD. Zaye, Perez, and Caleb Tennity face off in a grudge match. Charly Avell takes on Kaine, Jaden. Brother Levi Shapiro defends the Wrestling with Wregret YouTube Championship against Malcolm Phlex. Ravenous Randy Myers takes on a returning Marcus Eriks. And for the POW Pro Wrestling Tag Titles, Most Violent Challenge, Wade and Dom, the Hess Clan. But what of Uncle Sid, mister? What of Uncle Sid?
And what if the crowd cares on? Oh, that'll be an action too.
That's right. You never know what's going to happen on a night of POW Pro Wrestling. If you can't be there in person on Saturday, December 14th, you gotta watch us live on the YouTube channel beginning at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Mr. Silent Night, Violent Night, you're going to be there. I'm going to be there. The Powder Keg's going to be there. And it's going to be a night that no one is going to forget as POW wraps up the year of 2024.
Bells will be ringing.
Absolutely. For Mr. Ooh La La, I'm Brian Zane, and we'll see you right there at Silent Night, Violent Night.